Well, welcome back. I'm Bill Donut, the president of the Logan County Genealogical and Historical Society. And this is the 12th video in the series from the Logan County during the Civil War. And today we're following the 7th again. And we have a nice letter from them explaining what's been happening to them and where they are. And this letter was written on the 13th of October and printed in the Herald on the 17th of October, 1861. Editor Herald. The 7th Illinois may well claim the name of the traveling regiment, for we have been removed almost across the Department of the West. If we could be assured that the next time would be southward, it would just suit us. We are now encamped at Fort Holt, 2 miles below Cairo, on the Kentucky shore. It is a good location for a camp, though apt to be a little damp. The fort is a small earthwork enclosing about a half acre, and they mounted by 6 guns. The 28th Regiment, 2 companies of cavalry, 1 company of artillery, and the 7th comprise the force at this point. We hear nothing definite regarding our going south, but suppose we will await events in Missouri and Kentucky. The gunboats make regular trips down the river in sight of Columbus, but with no results worth mentioning. Captain Holden's company are improving in health. Many of them have been unwell of late. Our sick list now numbers 16, but as this includes all who are not able to undergo the fatigue of standing guard, it comprises many who are nearly well. We have only 3 in the hospital. 2 are confined to their tents. Private Ewing is the lowest now, but no fears are entertained that he will not recover. Rush Deskins is in the hospital of the 2nd Cavalry Regiment, having been taken suddenly ill while on a visit to Captain Larison's company. He is better this morning. Corporal Waltman and his brother have been quite sick, but are rapidly gaining. Privates Omagh, Pence, Stone, Shaw, Gwynn, Winters, McMahon, and Cook, who have been afflicted with sickness, are recovering, and most of them are about. Our company quarters begin to present quite a civilized appearance, owing probably to the presence of the wives of 2 of the officers, Captain Holden and Corporal Burrows. I believe both of them intend to try camp life for a while yet. The difference between their cooking and our own is quite striking and very easily distinguished. Our camp is full of visitors from Captain Larison's company today. I hear it reported that an effort is being made to have Captain L's company transferred to our regiment. If it should ever happen, there will be a good time. The address for our company now is Fort Holt, Kentucky, via Cairo. Yours truly, PHC. So they're in Kentucky now, been moved around a lot. We saw that they were traveling around Missouri a lot, so now they're in Kentucky waiting for orders to what to do next. And apparently one of the cavalry companies that is with them is Thomas Larison's company from Atlanta. So we have quite a few Logan County fellows down there at Fort Holt. And we'll find maps and drawings for Fort Holt so you can see what they're about. So now we're back in Logan County, and we have a couple of items that we're going to look at today. And one of them comes from an area of the county called Sullivan's Row. And this appeared in the Herald on the 12th of October, 1861. Generally in the county, when we talk about an area and they give it a little name that we don't know what town it is or what township it is, it's likely a school district. So this is from Sullivan's Row, and it's from Sullivan School. And the country schools at that time were one-room schools, and they took in students from a 4-mile square block, and the school was generally centrally located in that block, and so the kids didn't have that far to walk. A mile of walk to get to school was nothing for the kids back then. So here we are from Sullivan's Row. Mr. Editor, your readers may be willing to know how the heart of the eastern part of the county pulsates in the midst of the earnest patriotic feeling prevalent everywhere. The people here know that one question upon which they can feel excitement, and there is an almost perfect unity of sentiment upon the subject, the country and the political events of the stirring present are the only subjects which they deem worthy of earnest attention of the patriot. An enthusiastic meeting of the citizens of this vicinity was held on Tuesday at Sullivan's Schoolhouse, and addressed by Dr. Beadler of your place, with an earnestness and eloquence that will bespeak the interest he feels in the preservation of the federal union. The doctor believes, as we all do, in conquering a peace by a firm and vigorous prosecution of the war. The suicide of secession and the folly of the hopes of compromise were fully demonstrated. The doctor is an earnest and effective worker in the great cause. Though the night of the meeting was darker than the fabled stack of black cats, he rode 8 miles to meet his engagement. The meeting adjourned with 3 cheers for the Constitution and the Union. Spectator. On the 17th of October, which is the paper we've been getting most of our information from in this video, we have Colonel Dickey's regiment has received marching orders for Camp Butler. And if you remember in the last video, that was expected. The Union men of Sangamon County have nominated Peter Cartwright as a candidate for the Constitutional Convention. Hurrah for old Peter. Peter Cartwright has history with Abraham Lincoln. If you look at the early life of Lincoln living in Menard County at the time, and Peter Cartwright was the first political opponent he had, and Peter Cartwright won that one. And then Peter Cartwright later on has history in Lincoln because he had his 50th anniversary as a minister here in Lincoln. They were having a Methodist church convention at the Methodist Church, and they had the celebration of his 50th anniversary at Gillette's Hall, which still exists, by the way. It's on Broadway, across from the parking lot next to the Lincoln Daily News. There is no war news of importance. The government is still preparing to make a quick and sweeping rush on the rebels. Speaking at Middletown, we learned that Dr. Beadler of our town will speak at Middletown Saturday evening next. Spread the word and let all people attend. Attention cavalry. The undersigned will receive recruits for Captain Wimple's cavalry company and furnish transportation to the camp. This company is well mounted, and the men are considered number 1 in the regiment. Apply at Lincoln to Henry Sturgis. So Henry's in the 4th Cavalry now, and he's going to be with Captain Wimple and Frank Fisk. So he's getting involved into the fray here. We regret to learn of the death of our esteemed friend and fellow citizen Theodore Stryker of this place, and recently from the Army, where he was taken sick and compelled to return home. Mr. Stryker was highly esteemed in this community for his many excellent qualities, and his loss is regretted by very many warm friends. Now, Theodore Stryker was a member of Company H of the 7th Infantry. Exposure to the elements, or earlier in this video, that they had numerous men ill because of the conditions of being too close to a lot of water. So that's and a side thing on Theodore. That left the county without a coroner. And then the elections were coming up. We've already talked about that. It turned out that my own great-great-grandfather, J.F. Boy, was elected to that office for the following year. But that's just a side thing on Mr. Stryker. He was well liked. Here we have another loss in Company H of the 7th Infantry. We'll see you in the next one.